You're listening to Brain Lenses. I'm Colin Wright. In his book On Tyranny, historian Timothy Snyder wrote about lessons from attempts by tyrants to establish and reinforce their regimes over the past 100 years or so. One such lesson is that authoritarians will often rely upon what he calls anticipatory obedience to make people and other entities, businesses, government agencies, nonprofits, etc., obey their will in advance before they're even asked or told to do anything. So rather than having to overtly threaten and coerce those who might oppose them, would-be tyrants can instead imply that there will be consequences for those who fail to toe their preferred line, and rewards for those who back them. This implication then causes many such entities to act in the interest of the most tyrannical potential leader, because it changes the self-preservation math leading up to milestone moments like elections. If one candidate were to make very clear that they will play favorites, so anyone who's not publicly on their side will have a very hard time under their administration then, and the other candidate runs on the idea that playing favorites is not allowed, many entities will come to the conclusion that there is no real downside to supporting the former, or bare minimum, not publicly supporting the latter, because the latter will not punish them either way, but the former will, if they take control. It just makes good survival sense, according to the superficial implications and stakes at least, to kowtow to the threatening candidate under such circumstances, because there are potential and potentially significant downsides to not doing so, while there's little or no obvious benefit to the opposite stance. This is worth understanding in part because today's communications ecosystems can amplify the impact and possibility of such threats, and because of how entangled with politics many business interests have become. The owners of newspapers do business with the government, and those in charge of social platforms fear regulatory reprisals if a candidate they speak out against or otherwise hinder wins. This in mind, it's also worth remembering that public expressions of support, or the opposite, don't necessarily mean anything, especially if they are from entities that might fear punishment tomorrow for actions or stances they take today. I'm able to present Brain Lenses in both its written and audio formats, ad-free, because of support from listeners like you. If you're enjoying what I'm doing here, consider becoming a paid supporter for the cost of a cup of coffee each month at brainlenses.com.